Hey boys and girls, it's Ron Bass with another edition of Soar High Personal Development. Ron's Mixed Bag.
Ron's Mixed Bag.
Your source for inspiration, encouragement, pop culture.
Rants.
Fun stuff.
The Beatles. No, not the Beatles, but the Beatles.
Davin Hunley joining us tonight, our executive producer.
That's me.
Also executive producer, Soar High Records, SoarHighEntertainment.com.
Lots of things.
Lots of stuff.
Soar High Records on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you can find it.
Lots of stuff going on. I like it. Super cool.
I do too, I agree.
So, tonight we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff, but I want to start off with a topic that I think is interesting. It goes something like this about, it's kind of like, how do we cope? And that's a kind of a broad statement, or broad question, but how do we cope? What are the ways that we can cope with all the things coming at us in life? And there's a lot of things coming at us, like every day. I just came from an experience just now where one of the parents at my dojo was really, really struggling with their kids. And I get it. I mean, the kids screaming.
Right.
And the other kids crying.
Okay.
And my poor friend was going out of her effing mind. And, you know, that's not an easy thing to deal with.
No.
Her comment to me was, hey, you don't know how lucky you are that you have kids. I said, well, it's a trade-off. I mean, you've got an experience that I've never had, and I've got an experience that you're never going to have.
That's true.
But each side, has some benefits, and each side has some downsides.
Exactly.
But how to cope? Coping mechanisms. I told her, I said, I can see why people drink.
Yeah.
Because it relieves a little bit of the pressure and the tension.
Yep.
But on the other side of the coin, it's a bad thing to do.
It's a bad habit.
And particularly if you're an alcoholic, if you've got that alcoholic gene, you're screwed.
I think it all comes down to moderation.
But some people can't drink at all.
No, I agree with you, but I'm just saying I think that
you might be able to, because you're not an alcoholic.
Well, I'm just saying. There are some people that can't, you're correct, but there are some people that can.
That's correct.
It depends.
But the ones that can, I think, maybe don't practice moderation so much.
It's true. I would agree.
But that's a whole other subject. So, coping mechanisms. How do we cope with frustrations? How do we cope with disappointments? How do we cope with dishonesty? How do we cope with relationship problems? How do we cope with disingenuousness? I have a friend, former friend, that's causing another friend of mine a whole lot of trouble. And I told my friend tonight, I said, that person is extremely disingenuous.
Right.
I know what she did to me years ago, and you were her friend, and now you're seeing exactly who I know that she was. She's already doing things to you that are very disingenuous, very selfish, trying to hurt you, causing you harm. That's who that person is. And I said, you can't be around people like that.
No.
If they're going to hurt you, take advantage of, manipulate you, use you, you cannot be around people like that. Sorry. You can try to help. I got another friend. Got a lot of friends. Well, I don't know about close friends, but these are
acquaintances.
And some are friends and people that I do business with. That his girlfriend is absolutely taking advantage of this guy to the point where he's losing his mind. And like tonight, he was trying to sell me a vehicle that belongs to her because she needs money for an attorney because she's going to go back to prison. And I'm thinking she needs to go back to prison because this girl's nothing but... Listen, I'm not being negative. This girl's nothing but trouble.
Okay.
Trouble for him, trouble for me, trouble for everybody.
Okay.
Dishonest, stealing, and drugging, and just all the things you're not supposed to do when you're on probation or parole.
Okay.
And, he's trying to help this person, and he's just using him. It's sickening. You can't do that.
That's sad.
It's very sad.
Sad that people do that.
And why do people do that? That's a whole other subject.
Yeah, that's a whole...
You got to get away from people that are using it like that. So back to my original statement for the topic is, how do you cope? What are the different ways that we have to cope with all these things that are uncomfortable? Devin?
Man, for some people it's the bad stuff like drugs and alcohol. For some people.
Why does that work so well? Why do drugs and alcohol work so well?
It's the certain chemicals that it releases. And it's like one of the best descriptions that I've heard is that your conscience feels like it's in another room, so you don't have to think about the problems.
I get it.
I can see that analogy. I understand that.
What about pot? How does that work? And now that it's legal in Missouri, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I'm biased. I would say it's a good thing. I think it's good for certain people, but then for some people it's not. You know, it depends. If you're able to have moderation and not just you don't depend on it, then it is a good.
It seems like the people I know that use it do depend on it.
Exactly, and that's when it gets into a bad thing. That's when it turns into something that's negative.
Is it physically addictive?
Yes and no.
Not like crack. Not like
as
meth.
bad as it could.
Not like Valium.
Or
not like
pills.
opiates.
Yeah, pills are probably the most.
I mean, if somebody was smoking pot, would they go into withdrawals if they didn't have physical withdrawals?
No, they would just get edgy, more or less.
But it's a different kind of addiction. Maybe still an addiction, sort of. Not as bad as
the dopamine
opiates.
that it releases.
Okay.
It's the dopamine that it releases. It just makes you feel a certain way, more relaxed.
So drugs and alcohol. One way to cope with things that you don't like.
Working out.
Working out's the best one.
It is. Spending time around family and friends.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about family and friends.
Okay.
I mean, I'll probably get some hate mail for this, but I think sometimes that's overrated too.
I agree with you.
Here's why I
agree.
Because I think people take advantage of other people.
Yes, they just want to make them feel some type of way that actually, fun story. Here we go. All right, so this last weekend was Mother's Day, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we get invited to Golden Corral with my grandparents and my aunt, my uncle, my family. Okay. And it's packed. The AC's not on. Ooh. I didn't go there to eat because I think it's kind of gross for like a buffet. Everybody's hands are on you and blah, blah, blah.
I get it.
And, you know, if I would have said no, they would have made me feel bad.
I get it.
And I'm just like, I would never do that to you.
I would never do that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it is what it is. The whole holding over I raised you, holding that over someone's head, I feel can be wrong if you do it in the wrong way.
It's a manipulation technique.
Yeah, and it's not right.
It is not right.
It's not right.
I see it a lot in families.
I do too. Sometimes
family can be worse than an enemy.
Yes, they can.
And I hate to be so negative, but I just see it all the time.
They feel as though that they can control your life.
I told my friend the night at the gym, I said, look, the best thing you can do to deal with all these stresses, your children, your family, you have to focus on yourself. That sounds selfish, but if you don't work on yourself first,
then you can't do anything for anybody else.
And you're never going to be who you want to be because you're always going to be struggling, dealing with everyday stresses, back to coping. Exercise, rest.
Rest is a huge...
I can tell you that for myself, a good night's rest, man, it puts you right back in the saddle again.
I agree.
No matter how difficult, how stressed, how hard the day was before, if you can go to sleep and really get a good, solid night's rest, you can start the next day fresh and feeling pretty damn good. Without the rest, oh man, bad news.
I've got 3 other coping mechanisms.
Okay,
2 you're not going to like, 1 you will like.
Okay, I'm ready.
The first one you're going to like. It's music.
I was going to say music. I knew you were going to say that.
Music is a great coping music.
Music's the medicine.
Whether it is making music, listening to music, however, music is
engaging in the process.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes. The next one, I'm going to put video games on there. For some people,
I can't handle it.
Well, listen, think about it. You know how we explained it. It can be rewarding.
I get it.
If you are into it like that.
I get it. But it's also an escape mechanism.
Exactly.
I don't like it because of that.
I understand, but
it's some recreation. But when you're doing it all the time, I don't agree with that.
Exactly. It's all about moderation.
But people are not into moderation when it comes to video games.
Not everybody, but there are some people.
It's a waste of time unless you just use it as if you do it as recreation sometimes, but if you're doing it all the time,
it should be just maybe an hour. In my opinion, 30 minutes to an hour at a time.
30 minutes would be cool.
Somewhere around there.
Kind of like exercise for 30 minutes.
Yeah, it just depends. My next one is the same thing. Leisure. Just literally sitting there watching a TV show, watching a movie.
I agree with that.
Going to a concert.
I like to walk. Run. Walk or run.
Yeah.
Take your time. The last few days, as you know, I've had some... so that's another stuff I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Knee injections. So I've been testing my knee injections out to see how it affects my walking or running.
Right.
And it's an interesting subject, but I've enjoyed this week walking. Besides that, one of my car isn't working. I've been worked on. That's another topic. So I've been walking a lot, and it's very enjoyable now that I don't have the knee pain.
Right.
I can get out and walk, and it's so enjoyable.
That's good though.
It's pleasurable. So that's a form of coping as well.
I agree.
Well, it's a form of exercise. Of course.
just leisure, something that.
But that's leisurely. If you just take a leisurely walk for 30 minutes to an hour,
something that you enjoy that isn't so strenuous on the mind or the body. That is, I think everyone needs that 30 to an hour a day. Just something where you can take your mind off of everything.
So, some other thoughts about coping. I think people water things down too much. I think they're not realistic. You can't be surprised by anything. Oh, but Ron, I can't believe she did that. I can't believe he did that. Look, man, nothing should surprise you.
No.
Because people are going to do things that are horrible. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way it works in life. People you thought would never be a certain way are a certain way. People that turn on you that you wouldn't think would ever do that to you. Things that happen in your life that are challenging and you can't believe it. It's just the way it is. You can't be surprised by anything, in my opinion. We talked about resting. That's so important. Exercise, super important. Focusing on yourself. You got to focus on yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to take time for yourself, set your goals, work out, rest, stay off the drugs and alcohol as best you can, and have goals, man. Like, get up every day with goals. It's like a roadmap. So when I get up every day, it's like, okay, today I need to accomplish these goals. Okay, I set those goals yesterday, and maybe I'm not even close to getting them accomplished, but I have to find a new way to get there.
Somehow.
The goals are everything. It's a roadmap.
I agree. That's actually
Even if you're not ambitious, it's important to set goals.
And you know what's crazy? That's how a video game is. It gives you a goal, and you go out and you achieve the goal.
I'm not so high on the video game like you are, but I get where you're coming from. All right, fair enough.
I'm going to make this argument. I'm going to die on this hill. I'm going to die on this hill.
All right. And just remember, one last thought about this topic. You only have control over one person, and that is
yourself.
And guess what? People spend all day long trying to help other people, try to make people be something that they're not. Mm. It does not work. It never will work.
No, never.
You can have good intentions, but sorry, people are going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Sounds selfish, but it isn't selfish. It's the only way you're going to become who you want to become, and where you can set an example to others.
Exactly.
Right or wrong?
Right, 100%. No doubt about it.
Any other thoughts on this topic, Mr. Davin?
No, just besides that everyone should have 30 to an hour every day of just leisure time. Do what you want to do for a second. That's a good way. That's an easy way to cope. Just sit on your front porch, Remember way back when that was what was fun.
Sit on your porch in the rocker and talk and visit. Yeah.
That just...
And maybe sing.
Yeah, listen to the radio. Whatever you want to do. Something that's leisurely. Everyone should have just a relaxed time.
I agree with that.
That's my last thought on that.
That's your last thought on that?
We got a rant. Oh, okay.
Well, we got some other things to talk about. Some fun stuff.
Okay.
Some not so fun stuff.
Oh, no.
Some silly stuff.
Some
things that kind of pissed me off this week.
Oh, no. Here we go.
Nothing too crazy.
All right.
So here's the deal. How hard is it, Davin, to be able to pay a bill? I know we've had this discussion before. So today,
okay.
I'm trying to pay my internet bill. And I'm online with my phone. Mm-hmm. And it says, you want to pay by debit card? Check. I said, by debit card. I click, add the account number, yada, 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 put all the information in. I hit the pay button, and guess what happens? Nothing. I do it again. Okay, well, what's up? So I call an 800 number. I'm 15 minutes into this process now. My phone's ringing off the hook, trying to pay the phone bill, trying to pay the internet, because today they're going to shut it off if I don't pay it. Last minute. I know I have a bad habit of that sometimes.
It's okay.
I call. Okay, what's your full name? What's your social security number? What's your password? All I want to do is pay the bill. Who cares what all this? Who cares about all this other stuff? Even if, let's just say, I am not the person that's the person that's in charge of the account. Let's just say I'm not. Okay, what do they care? As long as the bill gets paid.
Exactly.
I don't understand, and I'm not trying to be like crappy, but what is the logic behind this?
There is none. Or, well,
what kind of silliness is this all about? It's silly.
Some security thing. I don't know.
But it means, I'm trying to pay a bill. It's just ridiculous. A $70 internet bill. I don't get it. But anyway, I finally got it all done. And then they said, oh, by the way, you want us to turn your internet back on? And I said, but my internet's not turned off. Oh, yeah, it's turned off. There was a suspension notice. I said, well, it was working before I called you. She says, well, I'll put the order in to have it restored. Oh, my God. It's just unbelievable to me.
That isn't.
I mean, I just don't get it, why it should be so hard. Okay, so then same thing happened on my utility bill. You got to put this information and that information. It's like all I want to do is pay the bill. Take my debit card,
right,
and pay the bill.
Right.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Do you have any thoughts on that, David?
No, it should be as simple as
simple.
It should be as simple as
somebody calls me and wants to pay a bill. I take the credit card. Thank you very much. Yeah. Click.
Have a good day.
I mean, I'm off the phone in 10 seconds.
Exactly, and then it's over.
Jeez Louise, man, what is going on in the world? Okay, back to my topic, back to my conversation about injections. So, here's the deal. For probably 10 years, I have been dealing with, I thought it was an ACL, and it probably was, because about 10 years ago, I injured myself in the gym, working out, and started hurting. But over the last many years that I've been doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and running and all the activities that I do, the knee got worse and worse, right? So I finally go into the orthopedic surgeon. He says, what do you want to do? Do you want an injection or do you want knee replacements? And I'm thinking, that's interesting. That's pretty like dry.
Yeah.
Like, how about a conversation about, well, this is going on, and if you do this, then this will happen, and maybe you should No, it's just like pick a number. What do you want to do? I said, well, how about if I just have injections? He says, well, it might help you for 3 or 4 months. You got to have it again and again, and eventually the only way to really solve it is to have knee replacements. And so I took the injections, and now about a week later, it's definitely improved.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a good thing. But the point I'm trying to make is that
you pulled up and said, door number 1, door number 2. That's all you got. Those are the options.
It's like, how about some conversation?
Yeah, it was so like...
How about like some empathy? Like, hey, man, I know you're in some pain. This is uncomfortable. Let me share with you what... nothing. It's just like black and white.
Did they take an MRI?
They took an X-ray and several X-rays. So this is really interesting. So being over 65, you get Medicare. So right. I have a small payment I have to make. So I get a bill. It's like $68 for the X-rays. And I think it was like $600 or $700. I only had to pay like $60-something. But the point, so I got to see the description today online. The description of my knee. It said, this is really interesting. It said advanced arthritis. Like there's no space between. I guess my cartilage was like gone on the inside of my knee. Basically, is what it was saying. I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I just figured it was like. I just had used it a lot, and it was uncomfortable and painful. Right. I didn't know it was to that point.
Yeah.
So he was like, well, no wonder you need an injection. Like, this is really bad. I'm thinking, I didn't know that. Yeah. But I mean, it's just, it's almost like I said earlier, you can't let anything surprise you.
No.
And what's really weird is when you're old, but you don't feel old, and you're looking around and you're thinking, this is like standard for this guy, because he sees people my age all the time. They're getting knee replacements.
Yeah.
And here I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. And he's like, you could probably feel like he's thinking, this guy's crazy. He should have a knee replacement. Yeah. But in my mind, it's like, I don't feel like I should. I don't feel that bad.
He doesn't know what you do on a daily basis.
No, that's true. But it's like, man, it's really interesting. When you're old, you don't feel old. I told my MMA coach, I said, I don't know how to explain it, man. I said, I'm old, but I don't feel old. It's a real dichotomy.
Yeah.
That's a whole other subject for another day. So much for knee injections. At any rate, if you have knee problems, go see an orthopedic surgeon.
They're going to get you.
And injections are good, man. They're going to help you.
The cortisone shots.
Cortisone shots, yes. So, have you ever heard the saying, Saved by the Bell?
Yes. There's an old TV show, Saved by the Bell.
Okay, do you know what the origin is?
No, I don't know the origin.
This will blow your mind.
Okay.
This is crazy.
All right.
So my black belt, Luis Rubicava, was telling me this the other day. He loves this kind of stuff. So Saved by the Bell comes from this. Back in the old days, people would go into like comas, and they would think that they were dead, and they would put them in a coffin. They would put them in the ground, and there was a bell.
Yeah.
And there would be people above ground all night, and if somebody rang the bell, that means that they woke up they weren't really dead. They were like, but you thought they were dead.
Right.
So Saved by the Bell, they would dig them up.
Oh, that's crazy.
And let them out.
That's crazy.
And then the wake was waiting for them to wake up. Mm-hmm. That's what a wake was originally.
Right.
How about that?
That's crazy.
How'd you like to wake up in the coffin?
Oh, no, that's terrifying.
I suspect that they didn't have embalming back then. And they just put you in the coffin.
Yeah.
Then he said they would reuse the coffin.
That's crazy.
It's pretty crazy, huh?
That is.
Okay, so a couple more things. We'll get out of here. So I've been taking the rides on Lyft, not Uber, but Lyft. I really like Lyft. Good company. Since my car isn't working, and it's really interesting because they have never picked me up where I'm at. The GPS is so effed up.
Okay.
Every time. I mean, it's not one time have I been picked up where I put my location in. Can you explain that to me? How, with all the technology we have, how that's the case?
Some people just don't know how to get to places.
But it's on their phone. It's like the GPS is on the phone. How come it's not showing up where I'm at? Explain that to me.
I don't know. I don't have the answers.
These are like big multi-gazillion-dollar companies.
Huge companies.
How could they not have perfect GPS? I don't get it.
I don't get it.
And I'm not complaining because I really appreciate Lyft. They're good guys and they pick me right up. And even if I have to walk a few steps or a block, it's not a big deal.
Right.
I just don't understand.
I don't know either. I don't use very many rideshare apps.
It's the best, man.
I'll
tell you what, I've enjoyed being chauffeured around for the last week.
I understand.
It's a real treat.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Because for all these years, I've been,
you driving
myself, right? One last thought, we'll get out of here. So I've been thinking a lot about snake oil. Like the doctor was telling me the other day how there's all these other treatments for knee pain, but he said it's all snake oil. Like they'll charge you $10,000 and they'll promise this injection and it's going to make your knee. He says it's all baloney. So then I got to thinking about other snake oil things. Like in the world of motivation, I've grown up in this world, like listening to speakers my whole life and tapes and videos and live events, people that are really smart that motivate you. The thing about motivation, though, is that it's like exercise. You have to have it every day.
Right.
You could go to an event and be all, yeah, I'm going to go out and check on the world. And the next morning you wake up, you're depressed again. Mm. So motivation, you have to have it every day. That's why I love the podcast. That's why we're going to have live events at some point. So, but I think to myself, a lot of these guys that are preaching motivation, I think they're disingenuous. I think a lot of them are full of baloney. And I think they're just taking people's money. And I don't like that. And I think to myself, they're talking about the power of positive thinking. But if you dig deep, maybe it's just a lot of hype.
Is it?
And I'm a positive guy, and I preach positive. But you know what? You know what I think the real answer is? The real answer to be successful? Stay the course. Don't give up. That's a lot more important than any other ingredient that you can come up with to try to be motivated.
Consistency.
Be around good people, of course. Put good things in your head. Be a goal setter. But in the end, I think there's a lot of snake oil out there, man. And I'm not that guy, and you're not that guy, and we'll never be that guy.
It's all about consistency.
Yeah, put put in the work, man. Be consistent every day. Don't ever give up. Just steady as you go. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day.
My final thought would be, because like you said, when you have positivity consistently every single day, you'll find success. If you have it just every so often, you won't find it. Everything, if you do it with consistency, you will find success in it.
Devin, you and I are cut from a special cloth. There aren't too many people like us. My black belts like us. It's a small group of people. I mean, we know a lot of people that are up and coming and doing good things, but to be this disciplined is really not usual.
No.
But I'm glad that we're cut from that cloth.
I agree.
And our future is going to be pretty cool. It's already pretty cool.
I agree.
Okay, any closing thoughts, sir? We'll get out of here.
Like you said, stay the course, stay consistent, take time out of your day to have some leisure, to just relax for a second, take the mind off of everything. Everything should be moderation. Work in moderation, work out in moderation. If you drink soda in moderation, they even say drink water in moderation now. Too much water can hurt you. It can make your stomach expand too far and rip the lining. Something like that. I don't know. Some crazy shit. Either way, everything should be done in moderation. You shouldn't don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's my final thought. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
My final thought is enjoy the ride, stay the course. So until next time, we appreciate you guys joining us for our session. And until next time, just remember, if you don't give up, the stars, well, usually they're going to line up. So until next time, stay positive.